You know what time it is. Live from the BearMuscle Garage, it is Battle Day with Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So, like we said, it is Battle Day. We're going to have super high energy. We're going to have 2 different heats going down. And what are we doing today? Well, we're going to have heats of 2 minutes and 30 seconds in length. In a 2 minute and 30-second window, we're going to do 15 toe to bar, 10 overhead squats, and then as many calories on the rower as we can do until that 2 minutes and 30 is up. And then we're going to rest 2:30 while the other heat is going, and we're cheering them on, recovering, waiting for our turn again, going back and forth until we've each done 4 rounds of this. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have a rower, I don't have a bar to do any of this stuff. Can I even do this? Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well, and we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it, right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back, arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. One of the ways I've been privileged to help you guys live your best life is through Habit Master Coaching. And our team of awesome Habit Master coaches has helped hundreds of our Fit Crew family all over the world to live their best life and to overcome the obstacles that prevent them from earning badges and really figuring out what they need to do to be their best self. Let's move on to the wrist wave. So how does this work? Well, in Habit Master Health Coaching, we sit and listen compassionately to the details of your life and help you to figure out the specifics, the small steps that are needed to do what you need to do in terms of drinking more water, getting more sleep, getting that meal planning in. And then, of course, figuring out how to find that consistency in flexi time and the WODs. Let's move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, and we can even throw in some high elbows. And then on the other hand, we also have Habit Master private training. And in private training, we, of course, in these classes and these videos, strive to make these as instructional as possible, but nothing replaces having an eagle-eye coach that is watching you, giving you instant live feedback on your movement, helping you to move better, more efficiently, stay out of pain, and reach your full potential. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, or we can do some wrist extensions, or do both. And so we have awesome Habit Master coaches on the health coaching side and on the private training side. And we're also pleased to offer some semi-private training in case this is something that you'd like to go in, perhaps with a couple of your friends, and get the benefit of some semi-private instruction, still getting some live feedback, but sharing the time with a couple of your closest associates so we can all rise together. Let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks, or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. So if Habit Master Health Coaching, private training, or semi-private training sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's go ahead and take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first thing we're going to do is the pigeon. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate the pigeon for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that pigeon is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's sink into the pigeon on this side. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down on the ground and we've got the one leg up and across the chest, other leg is back. And we are sinking into this pose here, opening up the hips, which is going to help us to improve our squat positioning. And let's go ahead and switch legs here. So we're going to get the other leg up and across the chest, other leg back. And as previously mentioned, this pigeon is super important, especially whenever we're doing a squat-based move. We always talk about chest up, shoulders back, knees out to the side. And that is actively what we are promoting here in the pigeon. Next, we're going to do some Supermans. And let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate two. Perhaps we can turn that camera angle down just a smidge so we can better see these flying Supermans. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then these Supermans are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the Supermans together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down. We've got the arms out in front of us, legs back, and we are raising those arms and those legs, holding the top there for about 2 seconds before going back down. And this Superman is super important to dial in that arch position and of course to activate the whole posterior. And so good job here on these Supermans. Next, we're going to do some straight leg sit-ups, and let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the straight leg sit-up for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that straight leg sit-up is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the straight leg sit-up together. Now, it could be that this is a very challenging core movement for us, in which case we may choose to do some single leg raises. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 single leg raises on the same leg for us. So we're going to point that toe. We're going to get all the way up, keeping that leg nice and straight, doing 5 reps on one side before switching and doing 5 on the other side. But if we're doing this as prescribed, then we've got those shoulder blades on the ground, swinging those arms for momentum, reaching toward the toes at the top, striving to get those elbows in front of the hips. And so good job here on these straight leg sit-ups or single leg raises, if that's what we choose to do. Next, we're going to do some V-ups, and let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the V-up for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then it's going to be very similar to the motion we had for a straight leg sit-up, except now we're going to strive to perhaps get those legs wider and reach even lower, getting the palm possibly flat on the ground. So let's all join in here and let's do 10 reps of the V-ups. Now, it could be that doing this with both legs is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we may choose to do the single leg version of the V-up, just like we see Bird Dog doing here. We're going to take a deep breath in, brace that core, and reach both hands toward one toe, alternating, going back and forth like this. But if we're doing it with both legs, we're going to take that deep breath in, reach toward the toes, and let's definitely pay attention to our range of motion here. If our core strength or our flexibility doesn't allow us to reach the toes at this time, then for sure let's modify to that single leg version. Or we could even do those single leg raises that we were doing before. A good job here on these V-ups. Next, we got some bird dogs, and you already know who we're going to ask to demonstrate these. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the bird dog together. So it could be that doing this off hands and knees is a bit of a challenge for us, in which case we may choose to do the dead bug. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate the dead bug here. This is going to be where we're laying on our back and we've got the arms in the air, knees in the air, and then we are lowering opposite arm, opposite leg. And this is a very similar movement pattern without as much tension on those joints. But if we're doing this as prescribed, we are on hands and knees, raising opposite arm, opposite leg, holding the top for about 2 seconds before switching sides. And so good job on these bird dogs. From here, we're going to do some air squats. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the air squat for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those air squats are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the air squat together. So a couple things to keep in mind on the air squat. Those feet are going to start shoulder width apart, and we are going to initiate by sending those hips back and sitting all the way down, pushing those knees out to the side throughout the movement until we get all the way down, hips below knees, and then we're going to drive through the feet until we get all the way back up to a fully standing position with the shoulders back at the top. We want that full extension at the top. Now, it could be a challenge for us to get those hips all the way down below the knees, in which case we may choose to do some assisted squats. Let's have Betty Boop demonstrate a couple reps here. We could use a chair, a footstool, or a medicine ball, but we are going to squat to this target, getting those hips back, and then getting all the way back up. And so good job here on these squats. Next, we're going to do some good mornings. Let's go ahead and have Betty Boop demonstrate 2 good mornings for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those good mornings are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 good mornings together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got those arms folded across the chest and we are hinging by sending those hips back, getting that chest to just about parallel. And then we're going to squeeze those glutes until we get all the way back up to a fully standing, locked out position at the top. And we want to go nice and slow through this and really feel that engagement on the glutes and the hamstrings. And so good job here on these good mornings. Next, what I'd like everyone to do is let's go ahead and grab a broomstick or a mop or PVC pipe. We've got a battle going on. Are you on team PVC? Well, no matter what team you're on, we got to grab something super light here. We're going to do some more shoulder mobility. Plus, we always start super light before we go heavy, if at all. So with this broomstick in hand, we're going to do some pass-throughs, and let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 pass-throughs for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those pass-throughs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of these pass-throughs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We've got a nice wide grip on that broomstick, and we are pulling it up and over all the way around, touching that lower back in the back, belly button in the front. And as Bird Dog demonstrated, the secret to the pass-through is that smile, which relaxes those muscles and helps us to have a nice fluid range of motion. And so good job here on these pass-throughs. Next, we're going to do some snatch grip deadlifts. And first, let's have Reb demonstrate how we're holding this thing. We've got a nice wide grip on that broomstick. And then we've got the hook grip, which means the thumb wrapped around and the fingers are over the thumb. And let's go ahead and see 2 reps of this snatch grip deadlift. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then hook grip, of course, and that snatch grip deadlift is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the snatch grip deadlift. So a couple things to keep in mind. At the start of the deadlift, those feet are going to be underneath the hips, and we're going to have those hips low, but the chest is up, shoulders back. We're looking straight ahead, and we're going to take a deep breath in, bracing that core as we drive the ground away, getting to a fully standing, locked out position with the shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we want to brace that core, keep it close to the body on the way back down as well. And so good job here on these snatch grip deadlifts. Next, we're going to do some snatch high pulls. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps of the snatch high pull for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those snatch high pulls are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the snatch high pull together. So the snatch high pull is going to start the very same way as that deadlift. It's going to start with those hips super low, chest up, shoulders back. Difference is, as soon as that broomstick reaches those knees, we are going to blast with the power of the hips, and we want to glute bridge and shrug. And we want to remember legs before arms. So let's get those legs first there, Bird Dog, and really pop it off the hips and then get the arms at the top with the elbows high and outside like a scarecrow. And so good job here on the snatch high pulls. And finally, we're going to do some power snatch. And let's go ahead and have Reb demonstrate 2 reps. And maybe we can turn the camera up a little bit so that we can see the top of the movement. But let's see 2 reps of the power snatch. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that power snatch is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the power snatch together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We're going to start the very same way as that snatch grip deadlift and that snatch high pull, except difference being after we pop it off those hips, we are then punching the broomstick back, landing in a quarter squat, and then standing to finish. So we want to think of this less as a pull with the arms and more like a jump and a punch. We are using the power of the legs, jumping that up, punching that back. Now, if all this jumping is making our knees scream just even thinking about it, then we can choose to do the muscle snatch instead. Let's have Reb demonstrate a couple reps here. So same starting position, same finishing position overhead, except without the jump and the land. And so we're still popping with those hips, except we're not literally leaving the ground. We are powering this up, still with the power to legs, without that jump and that land. But good job on the power snatch or the muscle snatch, whatever version we choose to do. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we're doing in today's workout. The first move we're going to do is toes to bar, which usually involves a pull-up bar. And the toes to bar is going to look like this. So as we can tell, this is a very high skill body weight movement that takes some time to develop. Most of us don't have a pull-up bar, so we're going to do an at-home modification, which is also a good warm-up, whether we have a pull-up bar or not. We're going to do some toes to broom. So let's go ahead and grab that broom, and let's look on as Bird Dog demonstrates 2 reps of the toes to broom for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that toes to broom is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the toes to broom together. So a couple things to keep in mind. Just like those V-ups, we may choose to do the single leg version like we saw Bird Dog doing. Or we can choose to do the double leg version like we see Reb doing. And we can get both legs to touch the broomstick at the top. But if that range of motion is very challenging for us, getting both feet to touch the broomstick, then please let's modify to that single leg version, working on that mobility. And furthermore, if this is a really challenging movement for us, no matter which version, we can also choose to do those single leg raises that we were doing in the warm-up, 1 leg at a time, just doing, maybe 3 to 5 reps before switching sides. But good job here on these toe to broom. And at this point, if you do have a pull-up bar and you'd like to get ready for those toe to bar, I'd like you to hang from that pull-up bar and do some scap pull-ups with just the shoulders. And then we can also do some hanging knee raises and some straight leg raises. But the second move that we're doing in today's workout is overhead squats. And to demonstrate, let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 reps of the overhead squat for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the overhead squat is going to be behind the neck press like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the overhead squat together. So a couple things to keep in mind on the overhead squat. Let's actually have Bird Dog hold the bottom of the overhead squat here just so that we can see a couple things. So notice she's got that full depth, hips below the knees. She's got the arms locked out and she's pulling back on that broomstick to keep it in the right position under her head. Only one thing we should fix here, Bird Dog. Let's go ahead and look up, look straight ahead, and there you go. Super challenging to especially hold that position, but let's go ahead and stand that up here. Woo! And yeah, we need to definitely see all 3 of those points of performance if we're thinking about adding weight. And now it could be that it's hard for us to get all the way down, hips below the knees on those overhead squats, in which case we can do some assisted squats. And let's have Betty Boop do a couple reps here. We can sit and stand to a chair, or a footstool or a medicine ball or whatever is needed. But good job here on these overhead squats. Now, the third move that we are doing in today's workout is the row. So if you happen to have some type of rowing machine like Bird Dog has over here, then what I'd like you to do is hop on that machine and we're going to row for 1 minute just to get that flowing and to see our technique here, and notice how the row is initiated with the legs and then we are leaning back and then finishing with that pull back. But most of us don't have these machines. We're the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row that preserves the stimulus of driving with the legs and pulling on that handle. We're going to do some sumo deadlift high pulls. So let's grab that broomstick and let's look on as Reb demonstrates 2 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull together. So a couple things to keep in mind on the sumo deadlift high pull. We're going to start with those feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit wider, and the hands are close together. And we're going to take a deep breath in, driving the ground away, popping it off those hips first before we do anything with the arms. So legs, then arms, getting the elbows high and outside. Well, let's remember, feet wide, hands inside. And that is the positioning that we're going to have on these sumo deadlift high pulls. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight on either the overhead squats or the sumo deadlift high pulls, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 3 to 5 practice reps at a time, adding a little bit of weight each time until we get to the weight that we want to use for our division. And especially with that overhead squat, even if we've been earning badges, this is mostly a mobility concern. If we are not getting the hips below the knees or unable to keep the arms locked out in the right position with that bar behind the head, then let's not add any weight to that overhead squat. No matter how long we've been doing this program, we need to work on that mobility, work on that positioning with the overhead squat, and we'll have plenty of opportunity to do so with a broomstick today. And then especially the more flexi time we do, the closer we'll get to hitting that position. But whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in, so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important. Your music is way better than my music. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a battle format here. There's going to be a lot going on in a short window of time to do it. and we want to keep track of those hard-earned reps every single round as we go along. So let's have some type of system to keep in place to help us to know where we are without getting lost. And one of the best ways to do that is having the workout written down close by with some type of scorecard. So if you're a teacher's pet like Mighty Mouse, first to the screen, winning the Teacher's Pet Award today, and we've got a whole bunch of teacher's pets around, let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time here, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're about to do this battle, which is in a 2.5-minute window. We're going to do 15 toes to bar, 10 overhead squats, and then as many calories on the row as we can do until that 2 minutes and 30 seconds is up. And then we're going to switch and rest while heat 2 is going, doing the same thing. And we're going to go back and forth in these 2.5-minute rounds until each heat is done 4 rounds each. Now, for most of us that don't have a pull-up bar, we're going to be doing those toe to broom, whether it's single leg or double leg, or if even that's kind of crazy for us, we can do those single leg raises from the ground. If we do have a pull-up bar, but toes to bar is something we're still working on connecting, we're going for definitely a sprint feel today. What I'd like to see us do is pick something that we can rep out at least 5s in a row without coming down. So whether that's hanging knee raises or hanging leg raises, let's pick something that we can sprint out in less than 3 quick sets, those 15 reps. On the overhead squats, it is not about the strength, it's about the overall mobility. We are not adding weight unless we own that position with a broomstick. So if we are working on that depth of the squat, the stability in the shoulder, keeping the arm locked out, keeping the broomstick behind us, let's keep it just a broomstick today, doing those 10 overhead squats with a broomstick. Other than that, let's definitely make sure we're hitting the full depth and the full extension, getting all the way up at the top. And then on that row, if we have some type of rowing machine, straightforward, we're just going to row the rest of the 2-minute 30 until the time is up. Your score is going to be the total calories or whatever output your machine has until that time is done. Although most of us are going to have the sumo deadlift high pulls with the barbell. And then at that point, your score is going to be the total sumo deadlift high pulls that you get in the remaining time in that 2.5-minute window. So your score is going to be the total amount of calories or sumo deadlift high pulls that you get across each of these 4 rounds, 2 minute and 30 on, 2 minute and 30 rest in between. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this going. We are going to have Reb, Betty Boop, and Mighty Mouse in heat 1. And we're going to have Bird Dog and Flash cheering them on nice and loud, waiting their turn, going back and forth. So here we go, guys. 2 minutes and 30 seconds of mayhem. 15, toe to broom. 10, overhead squats. And then as many calories or sumo deadlift high pulls as we can. How many reps are we going to get? Let's find out. Starting in 10 seconds. And let's hear from our cheering squad already.
Woo! Y'all got this. Do it.
3, 2, 1, go. And we are off. We've got Reb doing some hanging leg raises, some toe to bar actually. So she is opting to do the full toe to bar here. And we've got Betty Boop doing some toe to broom off the ground. And we got Mighty Mouse all the way down, all the way up. getting through these first 15 reps, and then we see reps switching to knee raises. So that's a good strategy too. Doing the first 5 or so reps, more full range, and then maybe switching to those knee raises for the last 10. And then from here, moving on to some overhead squats. So we got Mighty Mouse getting some weight on there. About to hit these behind the neck press. We got Betty Boop on these 10 overhead squats, wisely choosing a broomstick, working on that range of motion. And we got Reb, deep breath in each time, all the way down, standing that back up. Let's hear from our cheering squad.
And y'all are looking great. Keep going. Keep pushing. Get
And
it
then
done.
after these 10 overhead squats, gonna move on to those sumo deadlift high pulls. And so we got Betty Boop switching to a heavier weight for the sumo deadlift high pull. And let's remember, Betty Boop, let's get the hands together, the feet are wide on the sumo deadlift high pull. And so from here, getting those hips low, got less than a minute here to get as many of these as we can. And we got Mighty Mouse on these high pulls and Reb on these high pulls. And in about 30 seconds, we got Bird Dog getting ready to go. We got Flash getting ready to go. But let's cheer on Reb, Betty Boop, Mighty Mouse. 20 more seconds here. Let's remember to keep those eyes up. Chest up, eyes up. We are not dropping that chest. 10 more seconds. Let's get a couple more reps, a couple more reps. 3, 2, 1. And we've got Bird Dog on round 1 here. We're at the bottom of the first. Flash as well. Working through the 15 toe to broom. And how is Heat 1 feeling, guys? Let's hear from our cheering squad.
Show that who's boss.
Let's do this.
You got this.
Come on now.
And
You got
here's
this.
Bird Dog finishing off those toe to broom. Kid Flash standing up. About to go to town on some overhead squats here. So deep breath in. And let's get super low there, Flash. Let's get those hips all the way down. There we go. Standing that back up. And let's keep those arms locked out. Bird Dog getting low, standing that up. Keeping that good form, getting the 10 overhead squats in.
Go Bird Dog. Woohoo!
And then from here, going to be moving on to those sumo deadlift high pulls. So we got Flash. About to go to town on these. And let's remember, eyes up, hips low, eyes up. Then boom, that's all. So these are high pulls, Flash. So let's remember to get those elbows super high and outside. Yeah.
Go Flash, go.
Way up there we
There it
go.
is.
Drag with the legs, finish with the arms, and Bird Dog is on the rowing machine, counting those strokes. And let's remember to breathe here, Bird Dog. So deep breath in and then drive. Breathe out at the back. In on the recovery, out on the way back. And our cheering
Bird Dog.
squad is
Got
going to
this.
be going up in about 40 more seconds. And so cheering squad, cheering on, but getting ready.
You
Can't
got
wait to go
this.
again.
You
Come
got
on,
this.
Bird Dog.
30 more seconds. Let's get more reps here, Flash.
How many
And we
can you
got-
get?
Bird Dog rowing away. 15 more seconds. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. Let's get another rep. And then we're going to have Heat 1 going on to round 2. In 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. Reb starting off with some toe to bar. Betty Boop with some single leg toe to broom. Mighty Mouse on some toe to broom. And we got Reb choosing to do some straight leg raises. And as the legs are coming down, Reb, let's remember to hit that Superman, hit that arch, and that'll help you to keep that rhythm. And it does take some practice. But how is Heat 2 feeling? We got Heat 2 recovering, getting ready to cheer everyone on. Mighty Mouse finishing those toe to broom, moving on to the behind the neck press. And we got Betty Boop on these overhead squats, getting low, standing that up. Reb as well on these overhead squats, getting low, standing that up. So nice work there, Reb. Deep breath in, bracing that core every time. Cheering squat, cheering them on. Yep, let's hear it.
Go Reb.
Let's go. Can do it.
Getting low.
Got
That's good.
this, guys. Come on. And now Mighty Mouse onto this row, hitting those sumo deadlift high pulls. And we got Reb finishing off, about to move on to the sumo deadlift high pulls. Betty Boop on these sumo deadlift high pulls, driving with the legs, getting those elbows high and outside. So nice work here, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Deep breath in, bracing that core. Heat 2 on deck in about 20 seconds, getting ready to go. But 10 more seconds here. Get another rep, get another rep. 3, 2, 1, and we are on it. The bottom of the second. So let's breathe. Let's stay on it. But nice work. Heat 1 recovering from that second round. How you guys feeling over there? Heat 1.
Got this.
Let's hear from that cheering squad. Let's hear from that cheering squad.
Good job, guys. Keep on making it look easy.
And we got Flash on these squats. We got Bird Dog on these squats. Deep breath in. And let's get super low there, getting the hips below the knees.
Got this.
We want to think slower down, faster up. Slower down, faster up. And just like that, Flash done with those squats. About to be moving on to these sumo deadlift high pulls.
Show us how it's
Here we
done,
go.
Flash.
Driving that up.
Here we go.
And Bird Dog getting ready to go to town on this row.
Halfway there.
And so far, everyone hitting this intended target of about a minute to a minute and a half of rowing. And so that's what we're looking for, to get through those first couple elements, leaving about a minute to a minute and a half on this row around these high pulls. But let's breathe, let's keep pushing. Cheering squad, cheering you on.
Good job, guys.
You
Go
got
Bird
this.
Dog.
And cheering squad on deck, about getting ready to go in about 30 seconds here. Bird Dog staying nice and steady through this row. 20 more seconds. And let's get a couple more reps, 10 seconds. Let's get ready, let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Top of the third. And we got Reb on these toe to bar. We got Mighty Mouse on these toe to broom. Betty Boop on this toe to broom. And Heat 2 recovering from that second round, getting that score in. breaking out the abacus. But nice work here, guys. Let's breathe, let's push, let's sprint through this. And let's hear from our cheering squad.
Woo. Go Rev. Go Mighty Mouse and Betty Boop. Y'all got this. Y'all looking great.
Now, after these toe to bar onto these overhead squats, so deep breath in, getting low, standing that up. Awesome work here, guys. Let's stay focused, stay tight on that bar. Getting low, punching that up, pulling it back. Then after the 10 overhead squats, we know what to do. Moving on to those sumo deadlift high pulls. Onto that bar there. So here goes Betty Boop on these high pulls. Rev on these high pulls. Just under a minute left. Nice work here, guys. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. And heat 2 getting ready for the bottom of the third in
Wave
about
one's looking
30
good.
more seconds. But nice work here, guys. Let's get on it. Let's get on it. 15 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Bottom of the third here. And heat 1 is definitely feeling the heat. How are you guys holding up? Heat 1.
Good.
Not done yet.
Not yet. Just getting started. But heat 2 in the bottom of the third here, working through those toe to broom. Bird dog already done. Flash already done.
You got this.
About to be moving on to these overhead squats. So let's stay low. All the way down, Flash. Getting those hips. There we go. Hips all the way down. Keeping those arms locked out. Bird dog as well. Getting super low. Repping that out. Nice work, bird dog.
Good job, guys. Keep it going. One squat at a time.
You got this.
And here goes Flash on these high pulls.
Super fast. True to his name.
We are doing it here, guys, and bird dog hopping on that rower. About to go to town. Deep breaths, drive with the legs, hit that lean. Lean back, lean in, lean back, lean in. And love our cheering squad. Let's hear it, guys.
You got this.
Go wave 2. Keep it going.
You got this.
And here we go. 30 more seconds. Heat 1 getting ready for the last round. Flash doing the most. 20 more seconds, taking a breather.
So close, guys.
And 10 more seconds. Heat 1 getting ready for this last round for them. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off. Heat 1 on this last round of toe to bar, toe to broom. This is the last round to get it done. But nice work here. Let's go. Let's go. Getting through these toe to broom. And heat 2. How you guys holding up from all this craziness?
Starting to feel the burn. One more.
But nice work here, guys. We are on it. Getting through these last sets of toe to broom. Mighty Mouse now on this last set of behind the neck press. Betty Boop on these overhead squats. And let's breathe and push and let's get through it. Rev on these overhead squats. Let's take deep breath in, getting low. Standing that up. Coming up on this last round of sumo deadlift high pulls. So let's do this, guys. Getting some sumo deadlift high pulls. All the way down, all the way up. This is the last round. This is where we empty the tank. This is where we leave it all on the floor. And heat 2, getting ready for this last round as well. 15 more seconds. Empty the tank. Do the most. Five more seconds. And done. Heat 2, you guys are on your last round. Heat 1, you guys are done, except for the cheering. So, how you guys feeling heat 1?
Glad I'm done and glad these guys are moving well.
Let's go, let's go,
Great
let's
job.
go.
You got this.
The home stretch, you're almost there.
Yeah, you got this.
Bird dog done with these toe to bar, about to move on to the overhead squats. Flash as well on these overhead squats. Let's get low, Flash, all the way down. Hips below the knees, stand that back up. Hips all the way down, stand that back up. Bird dog on these overhead squats. And then Flash on this last set of sumo.
You got this, Bird Dog. You got this, Flash.
Getting ready to go to town. This is where we do the most reps here. This is it. Literally nothing left. Let's get through it. Let's get to it.
Go team, go team, go bird dog, go Flash.
Doing it, guys. Breathing, pushing. 40 more seconds here. Deep
You got
breath
this.
in. Almost there. Drive with the legs. Hit that lean. Hit that punch in.
Go,
20
Bird Dog.
more seconds. Cheering squad. Cheering you on.
Go, Bird Dog.
You got this.
Go, Flag. You got
10
this.
more
Woo.
seconds.
Ooh.
3, 2, 1, and tie.
Yay.
Man, what a battle that was. But now you've earned it. We're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness. increase flexibility. So we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch that we're going to do today is the child's pose. And that's going to be where we get those arms out in front of us, hips back, and we are leaning into this like this. Bonus points if you have something you can elevate your arms on and drop that chest like this. And while we're here, let's hear some high-low buffaloes. And let's hear first from Reb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those arms up and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Reb?
My high is just that I showed up after eating an entire Chipotle burrito. My low is the overhead squats. I just struggle with that movement always. The buffalo is that I was expecting the sumo deadlift high pull to be the easier of the three moves, but they were all super hard.
And I'll tell you what, even though it was all hard, you chose your hard, you fought through it, kept everything down, and had a good performance all across. And so good job, Reb. Let's go ahead and switch to puppy dog. So we're going to shift those hips over the knees, chest into the ground like this. And while we're here, let's hear a high-low buffalo from Flash. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those hands to the shoulder blades and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Flash?
Well, my high was everything. Well, not everything. I'm gonna say I didn't really have a high. The low with the high pulls, getting them in, and buffalo is. I didn't know the high pulls were that hard, so it may seem easy, but when you do it, it turns out. So that was my buffalo.
Couldn't have said it better myself. When you do it, that's when you really feel the results. We don't want to just do it. We want to bring it, which you did. So good job, Flash. Let's go ahead and thread the needle. So we're going to get one arm forward, other arm through, sinking into this like this. And while we're doing this, we had mentioned at the beginning of the episode about some habit master coaching and how it makes a big difference, whether we have a health coach on our side or whether we have a coach giving us some eagle eye training in either private sessions or semi-private. Now let's hear from Bird Dog. You've been benefiting from some semi-private training. And how has this helped you to stay on track? If we're doing this from a seated position, we're getting one arm across the chest, pulling across like this.
Well, I benefited in the semi groups because even though you're with other people, you get that one-on-one within the workout, and it just helps hone in your personal needs and prevent injury. So I benefited just for my personal workouts and my schedule and everything.
And thank you for being so coachable as well, applying that coaching and seeing the results. And let's go ahead and hit thread the needle on the other side. So we've got other arm forward, other arm through, sinking into it like this. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Betty Boop. You've benefited from some habit master coaching. How has this helped you to stay on track? And by the way, if we're doing this from the seated position, we're getting the other arm across the chest now, pulling across like this.
Yeah, it has benefited me. It might be the smallest thing, but when you say like, okay, bring your legs closer together or further apart or look up, just the smallest things, it's just keeping an eye and helping me so that I don't hurt myself and that I do it right. And I really appreciate that.
And once again, very much appreciated your coachability, applying all that coaching immediately and seeing the results. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what we got left, that sweaty selfie. Because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew.
Fit crew. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.